Something I've noticed when it comes to chosen ones is that they're suffering from something that I went through, so I'm going to talk about it and then I'm going to share with you what you got to do to get over it. Now, this isn't going to be for everyone, but if it resonates, it resonates. You consider yourself to be an out of towner, is what I like to say. You know your soul's not from around here. You may be experiencing this discord within and you can't identify it. You don't know what's going on. There's like this unhealed sadness within, and it stays there and you notice it, and you can't really put your finger on like what's going on. Everyone in the spiritual community was talking about how you chose to come here, and this really rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. I always had this internal knowing that there was some politics involved with that. And then on October 20th, 2020, when I was having a shower at my old man's house, the soul of Jesus paid me a visit. And what comes with that, it's hard to put into words, but it's such a loving energy that it's like the ultimate energy healing. It just clears you of all dense energy. And for the next week, I never experienced clarity like I experienced after the soul of Jesus came to me. It was a clarity it was like you were getting high on being so clear. It was unbelievable. And with that came memories of past lives and being a soul before I incarnated here, and conversations I've had with angels, my guides, before I came to this incarnation. A lot of people believe that you were the one who sat down and wrote your life from A to Z and all this kind of stuff. But for me, I was presented my life path from my guides and angels, and after I reviewed it, I went back to them. I said, no, this is a bad idea. And they're like, oh, you got this, no problem, you just got to open up your heart and be loved kind of thing, right? And, in 2014, I was in the process of exiting this reality when Archangel Michael appeared, and if it wasn't for him doing that, I wouldn't be here making this video. When I seen how willing my guides and angels were to put me on a path like this that I knew was not a good one, and how close I came to exiting in such a very low vibration, and the consequences that are associated with that, you could say this led to the darkest years of my life, because it felt like 24/7 all I was thinking about was how much I hated the individuals that were responsible for me incarnating here. And I actually went through this thing with Archangel Michael, because after he made himself known to me, I never talked to Archangel Michael. I was always about Jesus, right? But in that visitation that I had from the soul of Jesus, he told me telepathically that it was, I'll just quote, it may have been Archangel Michael that saved you that day in your garage, but it was I who sent him. And after I realized that Archangel Michael was a real being watching out for me, I was nonstop talking to him. Like, I was just always asking questions and saying things. And one of the things that I was telling him on a daily basis was basically, Michael, when I get out of here, you're going to have to help me kill the being that was associated with me coming here. And then in 2022, I found out it was Archangel Michael that asked me to come here personally. And, I had about a 6-month spaz attack, giving Michael the finger, but we've healed our connection ever since. And, I've forgiven and moved on. And I believe that a lot of chosen ones, starseeds, out-of-towners, are in conflict with themselves, because they're consciously trying to convince themselves that they chose to come here, when in actuality, I've had some gnarly out-of-body experiences and I've seen things. And I saw Shiva putting a sword through the eye of Metatron, the ancient text saying Shiva cut off one of the heads of Brahma. Well, I saw it happen in real time. And the reason for that was because Shiva had seen how much deception and how conniving some beings were to get, a lot of light workers to come here. And many of them, a large percentage of them, have just fallen into the darkness. So it's been a losing war for quite a long time. And so when Shiva saw that all this pain and suffering was going on because of, Metatron, that's when he decided to take action. So here's what you need to recognize. Understand that you didn't line up to come here with a smile on your face. I remember seeing planet Earth as I was floating up to this place, and it was one of the lowest vibrational places I ever seen in my life. So you have to come to terms with you were kind of swindled into coming here, and that's why you want to go home. That's why you don't understand why you would sign up for this. Also, when you agreed to come here, you were in a place of high vibration, unconditional love. Nobody really knew just how bad the energy was down here. So accept to yourself that you were kind of swindled, if this is resonating with you, to come here. And that's why you're like, why would I ever sign up for this? It's because you weren't told 100% the truth. Now, and now you might experience a little anger. Try to express it in a healthy way. I was throwing spears of lava through the clouds at my angels, but I recommend breathing and just feeling that anger and not being mad at yourself for feeling that, and then that'll go away, and then you just have to find the acceptance, and then you can go on living your lovely life on planet Earth that you didn't realize you shouldn't have come to. Smash that like and subscribe so we can do this again.